So the final project I have for you all to complete in Tinkercad is a family crest, or I should say a personal crest, where you're going to design a symbol with several icons that represent you or your family or something of the sort. Originally, when I did this, I had uh, this one where I have like my initials, pizza because it's one of my favorite things. I did two pencils because I was an artist, and the original like Atari controller with my name on it and a banner. Um, and because of that, some of my students have pointed out, Mr. Lane, shouldn't you have like a computer here or some other things? And I thought about it. I said yes, which brings me to my updated version, which is what I want you all to work on. This video is going to explain the project. And then next video, I'm going to explain how to make a banner. And the final video, I'm going to make the shield. I might put those last two together because they're actually fairly easy. But these are the requirements. First of all, I want you to at least have one item that represents you, um, or your culture, your background. Um, and believe it or not, yes, I am Jamaican. I'm actually half Jamaican. So at some point, I probably need to redo this and add the Filipino flag because that's my other half. But for the rest of this, I did do things that I felt best represent me. For example, I have a computer screen, a keyboard, and a mouse to help not only represent my love for computers, but that I am, in fact, a digital art teacher. And on the screen, I kept my insignia from before, my initials. Uh, I put the hamburger one because not only is it my favorite, like one of my favorite foods, I also put it because related to my class. It's usually the first project I have you guys do, whether it's in Photopia, Photoshop, um, or even Tinkercad. I'm usually having like a hamburger for you guys to make. Finally, I created a PlayStation controller, and yes, I created it all in Tinkercad. Like I can take this and break it apart and you can see all the different parts and pieces that it's made up from. So if I start ungrouping, you'll see that I actually trimmed the bottom to fit better on here, and it's not poking out from the bottom. But let's get this controller. And if I take this controller and focus mostly on it, and I ungroup it, we'll see that there are pieces. Uh, yeah, the buttons themselves. Click on them, like we can see that they are pieces and parts. Uh, Even little like analog sticks. Oops. Essentially, the controller as a whole is made up of several different pieces that are made up of even more pieces. Yes, I made a tiny nub. It's like a tiny flat nub. Anyway, that aside, your project, like I said, is to make a crest that represents you and uh, who you are as a student, as a person. It can be a family crest, and I need at least one thing that represents your culture.